There's a certain strength, a quiet power, when a woman walks alone. She doesn't need to announce it, nor does she require validation. Her walk is her statement, her independence, and her resolve. Walking alone isn't a sign of weakness, but rather the clearest expression of strength and self-reliance. In this world, it's easy to look around and measure success by the noise around you, the crowds, the applause, the constant company of others. But true strength, true power, often comes from solitude. When a woman walks alone, she is not lonely. She is liberated. She is free from the expectations of the world, free from the constraints of what others believe she should be. To walk alone is to know yourself. It is to embrace your independence, to trust in your own judgment, to own your story. It means not seeking approval or waiting for others to affirm your worth. It is the embodiment of knowing that you don't need someone else to complete you. You are enough as you are. And while others may not always understand the power of walking alone, she knows that her journey is hers alone. Her path may be filled with challenges, but she faces them not with fear, but with the quiet strength that only solitude can bring. So when you see a woman walking alone, remember she is not lost. She is forging her own path. She is stronger than you realize. And she is a force to be reckoned with. When a woman walks alone, she is not just moving through space, she is navigating her own journey with the full weight of her own self-reliance. There's a quiet yet profound strength in knowing that she can stand firm without leaning on anyone for validation or support. The road may be uncertain, and the challenges ahead may seem daunting, but she trusts in her ability to face them. She doesn't wait for anyone to lift her or hold her up. She has learned over time that her own feet are enough to carry her forward. Self-reliance doesn't mean she's isolated, or that she rejects the help of others. It simply means that her foundation is built on the belief that her success, her happiness, and her fulfillment are within her control. She understands that while others may offer their hand, it is her own will and strength that propels her. She doesn't need to prove her worth to anyone, because she has already proved it to herself. There's an immense power in standing on your own 2 feet and knowing you have the strength to face whatever comes your way. In every step she takes, there's a quiet confidence in her own abilities, a knowing that no matter how heavy the burden or how long the path, she is capable of carrying it. When a woman walks alone, she is a living example of what it means to depend on no one but herself. And in doing so, she unlocks a level of resilience that cannot be easily shaken. When a woman walks alone, she carries with her a profound sense of independence, a freedom that comes from within. In a world that often expects conformity, where voices are quick to tell her who she should be, how she should act, and what she should want, she chooses to chart her own course. There's no external measure of her worth, no need for validation from anyone or anything. She moves through life on her terms, unburdened by the weight of others' expectations. Her independence isn't about rejecting help or pushing people away. It's about standing firm in her own identity and being unafraid to pursue her dreams without asking for permission. It's the courage to live authentically, to follow her own instincts, and to make decisions that reflect her inner truth, not the voices of those around her. She doesn't look for approval from the world because she's already given it to herself. The power of her independence is the quiet strength that allows her to take risks, to step out of her comfort zone, and to break free from the limitations society often tries to place on her. She knows her worth, and because of that, she doesn't feel the need to prove it to anyone. In her independence, there is freedom, and in that freedom, there is nothing that can hold her back. She walks with the understanding that she doesn't need the world to tell her she is worthy. She already knows it. This is a woman who, through her independence, becomes her own greatest ally. And it is in that space of self-empowerment that she finds the strength to create the life she desires. To walk alone takes a certain kind of courage, the courage to stand in the face of uncertainty and move forward anyway. It's the courage to not let the doubts, fears, or judgments of others deter you from your path. When a woman walks alone, she is stepping into the unknown, knowing that the road ahead may not always be smooth, and yet she continues with unshakable determination. It's not a fear of the road, but a deep belief in her own strength that keeps her moving. She understands that courage doesn't always roar sometimes. It's the quiet resolve to keep going when the world tells you to stop. It's the ability to make choices without needing a crowd to cheer you on. The courage to trust your own instincts even when others doubt you. There's no loud proclamation of bravery, no dramatic display. It's the subtle strength to walk on your own, knowing that the toughest challenges are those you face when no one is watching, when you're all alone with your thoughts and fears. And yet, even in those moments, she chooses to walk. Not because it's easy, but because she knows it's necessary. Every step she takes is an act of courage. The courage to defy convention. The courage to stand apart. The courage to say, I will make it through this, even if I have to do it on my own. This kind of courage is not born out of arrogance or pride, but out of an unshakable belief that she is capable. It's the courage that allows her to face her own weaknesses, to confront her insecurities, and to grow stronger with each passing moment. And in walking alone, she doesn't just face the external world, she faces herself, and that, in itself, is a kind of courage few can truly understand. When a woman walks alone, it is the fullest expression of self-awareness. She is not merely walking through life, she is deeply attuned to who she is, what she wants, and where she is going. It's a quiet understanding, not dependent on the approval or judgment of others, but grounded in the certainty that she knows herself. She doesn't need to look to others for validation because she has already done the hard work of understanding her own worth. Self-awareness is not about having all the answers or never doubting yourself. It's about embracing both your strengths and your flaws, understanding what drives you and what holds you back. When a woman walks alone, she walks with the wisdom that comes from knowing who she truly is, not the image others project onto her, but the woman who exists beneath the surface, the one who makes decisions based on her inner compass rather than the external noise. It's this self-awareness that gives her the clarity to set boundaries, to say no when necessary, and to pursue what truly matters to her. She's in tune with her emotions, her desires, and her fears, and she uses that awareness to navigate the world with purpose and intention. This self-awareness isn't always easy. It requires vulnerability, the willingness to confront the parts of herself that are uncomfortable or painful. But in walking alone, she's made peace with who she is and what she wants out of life. She doesn't need anyone else to define her. She has defined herself. This understanding, this internal alignment, is what makes her path so powerful. She walks not with a sense of uncertainty, but with the steady confidence that comes from truly knowing herself and standing in her own truth. When a woman walks alone, there is a profound confidence that radiates from her every step. It is a quiet yet undeniable belief in herself, a belief that doesn't require external affirmation. Her confidence isn't born out of arrogance, but out of deep understanding and acceptance of who she is. She doesn't walk with the need to prove her worth to anyone because she already knows her value. She understands that the essence of confidence comes from within, not from the applause or approval of others. Confidence isn't about having all the answers, nor is it about walking through life without fear. It's about knowing that, even in moments of doubt, she has the strength to keep moving forward. It's the certainty that, no matter how difficult the journey or how many obstacles may appear, she possesses the resilience to overcome them. Her confidence is rooted in experience and the lessons learned from both success and failure. It's the ability to look at herself in the mirror and see someone worthy of everything she desires, regardless of the world's standards or expectations. This confidence doesn't scream for attention, it quietly asserts itself in her actions, in the way she carries herself. When a woman walks alone, her presence alone speaks volumes about what she believes she is capable of. She doesn't need others to tell her she's worthy, she's already convinced. She knows that true confidence isn't about seeking validation from others, but about standing tall in her own truth. She walks with the understanding that she doesn't need to shrink to fit into someone else's mold. She is enough, just as she is, and her confidence is the power that allows her to move through the world on her own terms. When a woman walks alone, she carries within her the power of solitude, a strength that is forged in the quiet spaces between moments. Solitude is not a punishment, nor is it a sign of weakness. It is in those moments of being alone where she finds her true strength. While the world may tell her that she should always be surrounded by others, that her worth is tied to her relationships or the crowds she keeps, she understands that solitude is the place where growth happens. It's where she can truly hear her own thoughts, confront her own fears, and discover the deepest parts of herself. In the stillness, she is free. Free from the noise and distractions that cloud her judgment and drain her energy. It is in these moments of solitude that she connects most deeply with who she really is, not who the world wants her to be. In the quiet, she listens to the whispers of her heart, and it is there that she finds clarity. Solitude for her is not about loneliness, it's a space where she can reconnect with her own desires, reflect on her journey, and prepare herself for the road ahead. When others look at her walking alone, they may mistake it for isolation. But she knows better. She knows that it's in these moments of being alone that she finds her true power. It's where she is not influenced by the expectations of others, but instead becomes grounded in her own beliefs, thoughts, and desires. In solitude, she is fully herself, unmasked and unrestricted. She is not looking to others for direction or support because she knows that everything she needs to move forward is already within her. The strength that comes from solitude is something that only a woman who has walked alone truly understands. It is the strength to be comfortable in your own company, to sit with yourself and your thoughts without needing to fill the silence with distractions. It is the strength to face your fears, to process your pain, and to emerge stronger because you've done the inner work. When a woman walks alone, she does so not from a place of emptiness, but from a place of profound fullness. She has learned that it is in solitude that she is made whole. When a woman walks alone, every step she takes is a purposeful one. She does not move through life by accident or without direction. Her journey is guided by a clear sense of purpose that anchors her, even when the path ahead is unclear. It's easy for the world to get caught up in distractions, chasing after things that don't really matter, being pulled in many different directions by the noise of society. But when a woman walks alone, she walks with intention. She has a clear vision of who she is and where she wants to go. And that vision gives her the strength to keep moving, even in the face of uncertainty. Purpose is the fuel that keeps her going when others might falter. She understands that without purpose, life can feel like a series of disconnected moments, a journey without a destination. But she has taken the time to define what matters most to her, what drives her heart, and what she's willing to fight for. And this purpose isn't something that's easily swayed or influenced by the opinions of others. It is an inner compass that she trusts more than anything else, because it comes from deep within her. In every decision she makes and every action she takes, there is an awareness of her goals, her values, and her mission. She doesn't waste time on things that don't align with her purpose. She doesn't let herself get sidetracked by things that would pull her off course. Even when the road is tough, when the challenges seem insurmountable, she moves forward with the quiet conviction that she is headed towards something bigger than herself. The purpose that drives her is bigger than any obstacle in her way, and it is this unwavering sense of direction that makes her unstoppable. A woman walking alone, with purpose, is a woman who is not easily deterred. She knows exactly where she is going, even if no one else does. She trusts in her path, and that trust fuels every step she takes. Her purpose is a source of strength, a guiding light that keeps her focused even when the world around her may seem chaotic. She walks not just for the sake of walking, but with the deep understanding that every step is one step closer to realizing her destiny. And that is a power that cannot be taken away. When a woman walks alone, she does so with an emotional resilience that is built on years of experience, struggle, and growth. Life does not always treat her with kindness, and the road ahead is often fraught with challenges that test her in ways she could never have imagined. But it is in those very moments of adversity that her true strength emerges. Emotional resilience is not about being unaffected by the storms that life brings. It is about learning to weather them with grace and dignity, knowing that even the harshest winds cannot break her spirit. She has faced loss, disappointment, and heartache, and yet she continues to move forward. Each setback has taught her something about herself: how to bounce back, how to find strength in her vulnerability, how to heal from wounds that run deep. But what others may not see is that every time life knocks her down, she finds the strength to rise again, often stronger than before. Her resilience doesn't come from ignoring her emotions or pretending that things are okay when they are not. It comes from feeling her emotions fully, processing them, and then choosing to move forward regardless. This emotional resilience isn't something she was born with, it is something she has developed over time. Through experiences that broke her down, she discovered her capacity to rebuild. Through moments that seemed insurmountable, she found a well of strength she never knew she had. When a woman walks alone, it is a reflection of her ability to endure, to adapt, and to rise above whatever life throws her way. She doesn't let her circumstances define her. Instead, she learns to define herself in spite of them. Her emotional resilience is what allows her to continue, even when everything around her seems to be falling apart. It is what enables her to keep going when the world feels heavy, and it is what empowers her to keep pushing forward, step by step, even when the pain seems unbearable. She knows that she has been through the worst and come out on the other side, and that knowledge gives her the strength to face whatever is still to come. When a woman walks alone, she is not just moving through the world, she is moving through it with an emotional toughness that cannot be easily shaken. When a woman walks alone, she is often walking in defiance of the judgments and expectations others place on her. Society, family, and even friends may have certain ideas about who she should be, what she should do, and how she should live her life. Yet she chooses not to conform to these imposed standards. It's not that she rejects others' love or guidance, but rather she refuses to let anyone else's vision of her life dictate the choices she makes. She knows that in order to truly live authentically, she must stay true to herself, even if that means walking alone at times. This independence is not a rejection of connection or a refusal to seek companionship. It's a declaration that her worth is not contingent upon anyone else's approval or expectations. She has learned that true freedom comes from within, freedom to make choices that align with her values, her desires, and her dreams without being tethered to what others think she should want or need. When a woman walks alone, she does so knowing that the only person who truly needs to be satisfied with her life choices is herself. There's a quiet power in that, a power that comes from recognizing that her path may be different from those around her, but it is her path to walk. She doesn't seek to impress or please others because she has already done the difficult work of impressing herself. She knows her own worth and her own strength, and she no longer feels the need to apologize for it or shrink to fit anyone's expectations. It takes a strong woman to live outside of society's prescribed roles, to step into the world as herself without asking for permission. Walking alone then becomes an act of reclaiming personal power. It's the decision to step into life unapologetically, to go after what she truly desires, not what others expect her to want. And that is no small feat. It requires a deep belief in her own right to exist exactly as she is, without needing to conform, without needing to shrink, without needing to fit into a mold that wasn't made for her. When a woman walks alone, she walks with the unshakable knowledge that she is enough, just as she is, and that is a freedom few will ever truly understand. When a woman walks alone, she walks with a level of strength that comes from the deepest corners of her spirit. It is not the absence of fear, but the courage to keep moving forward despite it. Life does not always unfold in neat, predictable ways. It often throws obstacles, challenges, and heartbreaks that could easily make anyone want to turn back or hide. But the woman who walks alone has learned that the key to overcoming anything is to keep moving, no matter how difficult the journey might become. She understands that strength is not about avoiding pain or hardship, but about learning to endure, to adapt, and to grow stronger in the face of adversity. This inner strength does not come from any external validation, but from an unwavering belief in her own capacity to handle whatever comes her way. It's the kind of strength that's been honed over years of facing difficulties, overcoming fears, and confronting the parts of herself that weren't easy to face. It's the strength that comes from knowing you've been through the worst and yet you've come out on the other side, still standing, still moving forward. Her strength is also in her resilience, the ability to rise again after each fall, to learn from her failures, and to not let them define her. There is no shame in falling, but there is a quiet pride in how she gets back up. Every setback only deepens her strength. Every challenge only makes her more unshakable. She has learned to trust herself, to trust her intuition, and to trust that, no matter how many times life knocks her down, she will always find the strength to rise again. The strength that comes from walking alone is also about inner peace, the peace that comes from knowing you are enough, just as you are. It's the peace that comes from accepting yourself, flaws and all, and understanding that no one else's judgment matters because you've already given yourself the approval you need. She walks with the quiet confidence that she does not need to seek power or validation from others because she holds all the power she needs within herself. When a woman walks alone, she is a testament to the strength that is born from self-reliance, from having faced the harshest parts of life and choosing to keep moving forward anyway. It is the strength to keep going when others would have given up, the strength to face each day with courage and conviction, knowing that no matter the difficulties, she is capable of overcoming them. It is this strength, this unshakable belief in herself, that allows her to keep walking no matter how tough the road may be. And in that strength, she finds freedom, the freedom to be herself, to live on her own terms, and to keep moving forward, one step at a time.